Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's just get into telling some stories tonight. It's Friday night. Let's talk more about the motorcycle industry. I've owned a motorcycle shop, custom motorcycle shop, for over 20 years. We started in Los Angeles and we moved to Florida. Daytona Beach is the motorcycle mecca, year-round riding. There's more bikes in Florida, I think, than anywhere. Maybe California has us beat, but I've done both scenes and it feels like there's more bikes here. Bike week pops off. It used to be bigger than it is. When I first got to town here, Bike Week would pull in 600, 700, 800,000 people. No problem. It would be out of control. Way too many people. It's gotten less over the years, so it might be 400, 500,000 people now. Let's talk about these TV bike builders. You remember all those TV shows that used to be on with all the bike builders? I used to watch them too. Those shows used to inspire me in some ways and frustrate me in others. Inspire me to, maybe I could be successful. I'd love to be a millionaire bike builder with a TV show, but it would frustrate me because I would get people coming to my shop wanting me to build bikes like they saw on television. The worst one was Orange County Choppers. And people loved that show. It was an incredibly popular show. And I had customers that watched it religiously. And then they would come to me and say, I want a Batman bike. I want a Spider-Man bike. I want a theme bike of some kind. We had one guy, we built him a Honda Chopper. Started off just a bobber. He wanted to chop it out. I didn't want to. I was like, man, it's a cool bobber. It just is what it is. And he wanted to dump money into it. Like, why do you want to spend so much money on this thing? It's just cool the way it was, but I'll take your money. So we chop it out, rake the fuck out of it. The thing stretched across the room. The front end that we bought for it, oh my God, it was so long. We were laughing about the thing. It's skinny. We set the bike all up, and he wants jockey shifter, forward controls. He's a little short dude, wants forward controls. His feet barely hit the fucking controls. I'm not trying to dog the guy, because this guy was a great customer and we liked him as a person and as a customer. But he was watching these shows too much, and we know he was because he would come in every week, every couple months, whenever he had some money in his pocket and want to do more to his bike, and he would say, well, load it up with skulls. Let's do a skull theme. And we would go crazy on skulls. 3-dimensional skulls on the gas tank, skulls painted on the rims, skulls everywhere. So I fabricated up some skull heat shields for the exhaust, and the exhaust was upturned, and we're doing skulls everywhere. And then he comes in a couple months later and says, because he's been watching these TV shows, and he says, well, I want iron crosses. So then we're putting iron crosses on top of everything. And then he wants diamond plate. So then we're loading up diamond plate shit everywhere, fabricating diamond plate covers, diamond plate this, diamond plate that. It just kept going. And I was just like, oh my God, this is just getting overwhelming. It's all because of those TV shows, man. And all those bike builders would come to town here in Daytona. And they would set up every year kind of in the same place so you knew where they were at. But it would be all the ones that you've ever heard of. Russell Mitchell from Exile Cycles, Billy Lane, who's the cat from New York that died, Indian Larry, I always liked his stuff. Eddie Trotta, his name you don't hear much anymore. Eddie Trotta would be in town. Arlen Ness, back when he was alive. All of them, you name them, name one. Sure, they were here. And they would all set up, and I would have a fun time going to check them all the bikes out, all the stuff that you see in the magazines. And back in those days, we weren't sitting there scrolling Facebook looking at pictures of bikes. You're looking through magazines. So me, just like everybody else, even though I'm a shop owner, I had just as much fun being a fan as everybody else. But I never liked the Orange County Chopper guys. They used to set up at the same place every year, right along Main Street, towards the Main Street Bridge. On one side is a restaurant. That restaurant used to be owned by Harley Davidson, by the people who owned Harley Davidson, not by the corporation. And in the parking lot, Jesse James would set up. That was his spot. You could find Jesse James in that parking lot many years in a row. And Jesse James's crew, they were all kind of standoffish and wouldn't really talk to you and were kind of jerks. And they were all playing this kind of Peckerwood kind of prison boy vibe. The hats flipped up and all that shit. And they would put signs with big font on all the bikes that said "fuck off." And then they would just sit in the back not talking to anybody, and hundreds of people would be, all trying to get a glimpse of Jesse James and watch Jesse James ignore you. And then across the street from there was a big parking lot, and in that parking lot was Orange County Choppers, Indian Larry, and God, who was the third one? It wasn't Billy Lane. It might have been Billy Lane. I don't remember who the third one is, so we'll say Billy Lane, because I used to see Billy Lane across the street at that restaurant. And I'd seen him many times before, so I would assume that he wasn't traveling too far from his booth to go get some food. But whatever. I'll tell you why I don't like Orange County Choppers, and it's not because of their stupid TV show that was fake. The arguments were fake. The producers said, hey, this is great ratings. Why don't you guys get into some fake arguments? And, maybe there was some real dynamics behind the scene, and real true fans are going to jump in there, like when you start talking about professional wrestling, and you always get some motherfucker who gets offended because he doesn't know it's fake, and he wants to argue the case about Hulk Hogan really being a good guy or some shit. I was never really a fan of the TV show, but I've watched episodes with it and had the same response that many people did. It wasn't the show that made me turn against Orange County Choppers. I'll tell you real quick why I don't like them. I was with a friend of mine and his son, his 12-year-old son. And we went down Main Street. First we went over and saw Jesse James. Well, we got some food inside, burgers and stuff, and just guy's day, and his son loved Orange County Choppers TV show and worshipped that shit. He totally idolized those guys. The dad really didn't care, but he's got the son for the weekend, and damn right I'll take you to go see him. Let's go see him. Let's get autographs. The son just can't wait. We go check out Jesse James, and then we go across the street, and we see the bike builders, and Orange County Choppers had the biggest setup. They got their bikes out, which you can see, and then a table full of those guys that are on the TV show, the father, the son, and the fat one. And then a long line of people, like 50 people, all standing in a single file line, waiting eagerly to get up and get autographs. And you have to pay for an autograph. It was like 20 bucks or I don't know, 30 bucks. It was expensive for an autograph. So we go through the whole spiel, wait in line. The kid is excited as fuck. I grabbed some hot dogs and we munch them down. We get a little further in the line. Then I went back and got drinks. We got a little further, and then we each took bathroom breaks and held our space in line for each other. And then we finally got to the front. I didn't care. I'm not going to pay for an autograph. I'm just hanging out with my buddy and his son. We get to the table. All the guys are there. The kid is nervous as fuck because these are his idols. This is the greatest day of his life. The father they had these Bike Week t-shirts that they bought, Daytona Beach Bike Week. Daytona Beach issues, the Chamber of Commerce issues a logo, and then the companies print it out, and we have these official Daytona Beach Bike Week t-shirts. They do a different one every year. I don't give a fuck about them, but some people collect them. To some people, they really get off on those shirts. They go back 70 or 80 years, however long this event has been happening. Nonetheless, they had their Daytona Beach Bike Week t-shirts. They put them down on the table, and the guys go get ready to sign them, and they stop and they say, oh, well, we can't sign this. This isn't official Orange County Choppers merchandise. We only sign Orange County Choppers merchandise, of which we have plenty, and you can buy one of our t-shirts. They're 60 bucks or 80 bucks, whatever their t-shirts were, not cheap. The dad was tapped. We had already spent money on lunch and hot dogs and all kinds of stuff, and on the Bike Week t-shirts. He didn't come there with $1 million. He's just a working guy. He couldn't afford a $50 t-shirt, whatever it was, $65 t-shirt. And he's like, all I got is this. They said, sorry, next. Well, he turns to his son and he's just like, well, I don't know what to say. I guess we can't get it. And the son doesn't understand. The son starts crying. The son's sitting there right in front of the table, bawling. And this dad's trying to calm him down and saying, I tried, I'm sorry. These guys, Orange County Chopper dudes, they didn't care. They should have signed the fucking autograph for that kid. Instead, they just watched him cry. They just ignored it. We just slunk off. So that's why I don't like Orange County Choppers. Just that, that's it. That's why I don't like them. Thanks for watching.